Journalism in Tennessee, Mark Twain. In this short sketch, Mark Twain recounts his brief and disastrous experience as a newspaper editor in Tennessee, a role for which he is spectacularly unqualified and painfully aware of it. Twain explains that he assumed ownership of a small-town paper because the previous editor had suddenly fled town. Left alone with the printing press in a community that took its local news very personally, Twain quickly discovered that journalism in Tennessee was not a profession for the faint of heart. The trouble begins when he publishes a mild, joking editorial remark about a deceased man. The joke is misunderstood, or not misunderstood at all, and Twain soon receives visits from enraged citizens demanding retractions, apologies, or satisfaction in the form of violence. One man threatens to beat him, another offers to shoot him, yet another insists on correcting the story with his fists. Twain attempts to remedy matters by printing apologies, but each apology makes matters worse. Every clarification offends someone new. The townspeople take journalism as a personal matter, and the editor is held directly responsible for every word that appears in print. As threats escalate, Twain realizes that the traditions of Tennessee journalism include not only ink and paper, but also clubs, knives, and pistols. He ultimately decides that the safest editorial policy is immediate retreat. He abandons the paper, the town, and the profession altogether, concluding that journalism in Tennessee requires courage, physical toughness, and a strong desire to be shot, none of which he possesses. The piece ends with Twain's trademark self-deprecation and wit, using exaggeration to highlight the volatile relationship between the press and the public, and poking fun at both frontier culture and the risks of speaking freely in a place where opinions are settled with weapons rather than words. Mark Twain's humor often makes us laugh first and think later. Journalism in Tennessee does exactly that. Beneath the exaggerated threats and comic retreats lies a sober truth. Words matter, and they land on real people with real emotions. Twain discovers that journalism is not merely about reporting facts. It is about entering the lives, pride, and pain of others. What he intends as light commentary is received as personal offense. In this small Tennessee town, print is not abstract, it is intimate. A name in the paper feels like a finger pointed in public. The sketch exposes a tension that still exists today, the distance between the writer's intention and the reader's experience. Twain learns that once words are released, they no longer belong to the author. They belong to those who read them, interpret them, and react to them, sometimes with grace, sometimes with fury. There is also a moral lesson hidden in Twain's retreat. He does not portray himself as heroic. Instead, he admits his limits. Wisdom in his telling is knowing when you are not called to fight every battle or hold every platform. Sometimes discernment looks like laying down the pen and walking away alive. Finally, Twain reminds us that truth without humility can wound, and humor without compassion can inflame. His escape from Tennessee journalism is comic, but it quietly asks a serious question of every speaker and writer. Are we willing to bear the weight of our words? The reflection lingers because the setting may have changed, but the human heart is not. Today's weapons are not clubs and pistols, but outrage and reputation. Still, the lesson stands. Ink, like speech, carries power, and power demands care.